Hi guys, my name is Ruchini and this is my very first YouTube video on this channel, and I have decided to talk about the psychological observation that I've seen um, from a TV show that I really do adore. It's called Better Call Saul. For those who have watched it, obviously might know about what I'm talking about, but I'll have to give a small preview for anyone who has not watched it before. It's also a spin-off from the TV show Better Breaking Bad, so it's like a continuation of it, but it's a show about law, and it's basically because Breaking Dawn deals with a lot of drugs and things like that. This is like an extension of that show, especially. Okay, so first I'd like to give a backstory about them from the plot, because for those who have not watched the show or to whatever I'm trying to speak about, it's important to know the two characters. So the two characters I'll be specifically talking about is the brother, Jimmy's brother, and Jimmy himself, right? So Jimmy is a 40-year-old odd man, like he's an old person, he's not young, who used to scam people out for money, like nothing massive, but he's really good with scamming people, right? And he gets into trouble, and he's like famously known as Slipping Jimmy, and he's someone who's just scamming around, and he has friends who is helping him with the scams and things like that. That's Jimmy. But Jimmy's brother, on the other hand, he's a very famous lawyer. He has a good law firm running around, and he's very successful, and he's running his firm with a partner, right? So we have three characters now. We have Jimmy, we have the partner, and Jimmy's brother, and Jimmy's brother's partner, right? So partners in his law firm, a partner, right? And basically Jimmy is someone, like I said, gets into a lot of trouble, and you'll see throughout this show in his past he has had his brother has always kind of helped him, right? His brother has always helped him to like get over these problems, right? And the brother has always like rescued him because he's also in law, like he's also a lawyer. Like every time he gets into like legal issues, legal enforcement issues, the brother is always coming to save him. So that's something you should know about Jimmy, right? But then Jimmy is given a position at the law firm, the brother's law firm, to come and work for him, right? But since he's not a lawyer or anything, all he can do is like he's working in the mailroom, which is basically like he has to distribute the letters and the printing stuff and things like that. So it's basically like a room in the firm that he's working at. So while he's working here, he also has another famous character who is his friend, and somehow he wants to take the bar exam to become a lawyer, right? Now the brother doesn't know about it, but he somehow he has done the law exam, and he has got through it. So the brother has no idea that he took the exam, but once he gets the results, what is shown to us is he goes to the office and asks the brother, like, can you ask your partner, like, I took the bar, that's the first thing he says. And the brother looks all surprised because the brother didn't know like he's taken this exam to become a lawyer. And he says, after I complete everything, can you ask ask your partner to take me as a lawyer, right, to the firm. And you see this slight pause in the brother's conversation at that point, like, okay. But then he's like, of course Jimmy, I will talk to him, and and all of that. So the second part that I want to talk about is how the brother is kind of the very first episodes of the show, where he shows the brother is kind of sick. This is the brother that we're talking about, who's a lawyer. He's sick, and he has this thing where he can't get out of the house, and a lot of people don't believe him, but it's like a mental thing he has, and he doesn't want to go out, right? It's like he can't, he's like allergic to electricity. If he goes, something might happen, and he has this real big phobia around it. And Jimmy at this point is a lawyer when he's shown to us. Doesn't show as to where he worked or whatever, nothing, there's no backstory per se, but it just shows that Jimmy is really struggling to become a lawyer, like ends meet. He has a small office, not in the firm, but he has his personal office behind a nail spa, and he's like really scramming to find like clients, and he has his own tricks up his sleeve to get
get it done, and you know, he's like living really difficult, like he has a very difficult life as a lawyer, but he's still good at his job. And on the other hand, the brother is sick, and the brother has this huge house. That's not where Jimmy lives. Jimmy lives in the office itself because he's having a lot of financial issues as well. But the brother is sick, right? And Jimmy goes every morning, checks up on the brother, brings him food and all of that. And it also says that he's still a part of the firm, he's still a partner in the firm. So that's all done, but he's looking after the brother as well.
So what happens next is Jimmy and the brother, they're close, so he's helping out, he's bringing his milk, and if you really watch the story, he's going through a lot for the brother, right? And he's trying his best to be, like, even if other people are not believing in him, like, he believes his brother. When he says he's scared of these things, he takes it very seriously, that he can't go out and all of that. And he does all of that. And one day, he decides that he comes across a case, right? Now he's a lawyer, right? Now Jimmy has become a lawyer. So, and somehow the brother gets interested in the case, and both of them start working on the case together, right? I might be a bit wrong in certain places because I watched it a while ago. I'm recovering from my memory. But so basically they start working on this case together, and when they're working on this case together, Jimmy goes and does all the legwork. He finds evidence and he does all of it because the brother doesn't go out of the house, but the brother has a good mind and he's obviously a very smart lawyer, so he helps track things down, and they do things together, they work things together, and they realize it's a bigger case. Like it's a case that has more than one client, so like a class action, right? So there's a lot of people who can sue these people, and which is a good thing, right? Because they're lawyers. But the problem is Jimmy's just one lawyer, and like I said, he has issues already. Like he can't fund it on his own. He doesn't have the manpower to like power it through. So what he says to the brother is that, you know, I think the brother suggests that let's get the firm included, like his firm, right? So because the partner is like running and he's not really working, but he's still a partner in it. So he's like, I'll talk to the partner and make sure that, you know, you'll do the work together. And Jimmy's like, okay, but you know, I also want to be a part of it, like not just to get paid, but I also want to be like a co-counsel in it, which is like basically be a part of the case and stuff, right? And the brother is like, sure, I'll talk to the partner, and again, right? So the next scene is exactly what I really want to talk about. But what happens is we are then shown that the brother does something, and the brother actually tries to talk to the partner, but somehow the scene that's shown to us is that Jimmy finds out that the partner doesn't want him to be a part of the case, right? And Jimmy can't do the case alone anyway because it's too huge. But what he says is that the brother says the partner doesn't want him to be in a part of the case, and somehow Jimmy realizes that it's not actually the partner who doesn't want him to be in the case, but it's the brother, right? The scene itself is very heartbreaking to realize that, because he does so much for the brother and he loves him so much, but the brother has excluded him from the case and he doesn't really want to work together. And this scene kind of, when he comes and says, it was actually you who didn't want me to be in the case, and you lied about it, you said that it was the partner who didn't want me to be on the case. And the brother kind of goes off, right? He's like, you're not even good enough to be a lawyer, you went like some stupid school and got a law degree, and he starts bashing out all that anger, and he kind of admits that he doesn't really think Jimmy is suitable to become a lawyer, right? And you can see from the receiving end, because the actor itself is like such a good actor, and Jimmy kind of loses it. He's like, what, like why do you think like I can't become a lawyer and stuff? And the brother says like, you're always supposed to be slipping, Jimmy, that I used to like save you, and I used to like take you out of this trouble and all of that, and you, like I said, you went to some university that no one even have heard of and stuff. Mind you, the brother has gone to a really prestigious university, and when like in the beginning I said, when Jimmy actually comes and tells that he has like got through the exams and stuff, it's revealed that it's a very normal school that he gets into, but he somehow becomes a lawyer and stuff. And this scene, I want to talk about it because it shows how much the brother has actually kind of attached himself to Jimmy's identity as Sleeping Jimmy, right? His past version. Because Jimmy might have outgrown it, Jimmy might have overcome it, and he might have become really successful. But some part of the brother still believes that Jimmy's not supposed to come out of that circle that he has drawn himself in. Because in his head, Jimmy is still that version who didn't outgrow the Sleeping Jimmy's version, right? So it almost feels like the brother is so hurt that Jimmy overcame it. Though when Jimmy was in trouble, he really wanted the brother wanted Jimmy to get out of trouble and stay out of trouble. He might have said that, he might have consciously said that, but deep down, he always had a part of him attached to Jimmy as, okay, I'm the savior, I'm the one who's going to save you. And that kind of scratches his ego when Jimmy kind of outgrows that, and Jimmy gets his life together and becomes a lawyer. He's not a good lawyer, like he's not a perfect lawyer in the name, I mean. Good is again a word that is up to interpretation, but that confusion, right? Like the brother always wanting to feel superior over Jimmy comes out in that scene because he realizes that he doesn't have that grip anymore. Like Jimmy doesn't get into trouble, and even if he gets into trouble, he's a lawyer himself, he can get himself out of it. So like the brother's identity is kind of banished, like his identity is kind of crashed, it's crushed, and that's projected onto Jimmy, right? And obviously to be on the receiving end of that, if you take Jimmy's character, it can be, and he's not going to see through that, right? Imagine being like two brothers in the same family, and like one person is performing really well and the other one is not. The person is not performing well, even if the person succeeds, there's a lot of insecurity around it. So as much as the elder person also goes through its own lot, being the golden child or being the child who performs a lot, the child who doesn't perform, even after the person succeeds, is going to have a lot of shame around it. So even when the brother is having this conversation, Jimmy is actually going to feel like, I'm not worthy of it, I'm not worthy of it, maybe I'm actually not that brilliant about it. But if you really look at his character, it's so interesting how his character as flipping Jimmy is the reason he has become such a tactful lawyer. And it's the contrast between the two lawyers, like the brother and the kind of lawyer Jimmy is, though it's not the most conventional proper lawyer. If you watch how he, like his character from Breaking Bad, of like
him becoming this lawyer who even works for a drug cartel at that point, right? And how he's good at it is because of his whole slippiness in his younger version, like the fact that he's so tactful. The brother is a great lawyer, but I don't think the brother would have that tactfulness if the roles were reversed, right? Because it's like they can be arguing the same case, but they are like the perspectives could be so different, and they're two different people from the same family, right? And I love how the writers have gone ahead and brought that conversation up, in a very tactful way for the audience.
So I think it's this whole scene can be related to our real life as well, because sometimes you think the people that are closest to you want the best for you, but they might not necessarily want the best for you if what's best for you is going to make you better than them, or is going to at least come to an equal leveling as them. Like, it's going to threaten them. The moment you are a threat to people, you're not on the same ground, you don't receive the same support, because at that point there's a different complex that's falling into that, which is like a superior inferiority complex, because as long as you're inferior, you can be treated in a certain way, you're not a threat. And you'll see this even not in circumstances like this. You'll see it in friend groups where people have blow-ups, people change, people get big jobs or get big careers or start earning better than you or whatever, and suddenly you are a threat to them. You are no longer the friend who is just accompanying us. You're better than that. And sometimes if you don't really realize your potential, and if you stick in that same group, you'll realize at some point, if you ever get the chance to, the reason that they're even considering you a friend, or the reason that you can even so comfortably without any conflict be in that group, is because you don't make a fuss, or you yourself don't know your potential, but everyone else knows your potential but doesn't want you to really be better than that. Because the moment you become better than that, because if they actually make you realize how good you are, again, you'll be a threat to them, right? So the dynamics can play in so many ways. But this can happen a lot in families, inside families, can happen between mothers and daughters, right? Where you'll see like the mother gets jealous of the daughter, maybe even times when you're a kid, you feel a bit jealous of your mom. But it becomes problematic when the parents are jealous of the kids, because it can actually alter the child, because the child, when you're a child, a lot of your perspectives are formed through your parents, right? Because you don't have your own power to form things when you're a child, you kind of take it from them, and then when that's warped, that can really be problematic to a child, because when the child becomes an adult, those perceptions are going to form who they are getting into relationships with, their attachments and things like that. So yeah, I think this is such an interesting take. This is something I wanted to do for a while, and I hope y'all enjoyed it. Y'all can subscribe to me and like my video if you liked it, and I'm hoping to post more of anything that I find interesting really at this point. But yeah, see you, bye.